So my name is Andrew Dolby. I'm a professor in the Department of Biological Sciences here at University of Mary Washington. I've been here for about 23 years, going on 23 years. So I've seen a few things during my time as a professor here. And just a couple of notes before we get started. First of all, this meeting is being recorded just for your information. So if you prefer, you can keep yourself muted and your cameras off, your preference, but it is being recorded. Additionally, if you have any questions as the meeting goes on, you're free to type them into the chat box, and then we'll be monitoring that and we'll answer your questions as they come up. So just a little bit more about me. I have served as a department chair on the University Faculty Council, and I'm doing some extra work for the admissions office this year, helping to kind of provide information about the science programs. So that's my role here tonight. I am joined by a chemistry major, Ms. Ashley Summers, and I'll let her introduce herself and talk a little bit about her time here at UMW. But just a brief introduction for now, Ashley.
Hi, everyone. My name is Ashley Summers, and I am a senior chemistry major. I'm originally from Fairfax, Virginia, but now I live in Fredericksburg. And, I'm excited to get to share a little bit about my journey as a student at UMW and just my experiences in the chemistry major. So I'll share that at the end. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Ashley. Appreciate it. So what I'm going to do this evening then is just bring up a PowerPoint presentation. I'll share my screen and I'll just ask you real quickly whether you can see the PowerPoint slides, and just give you all an overview of all of our natural sciences programs, the majors we offer, facilities, research opportunities, things like that, other programs. Then I'll turn it over to Ashley to talk a little bit more about the student experience, and then we'll have plenty of time at the end for questions. So I'm just going to go ahead and share my screen now. Put it on presentation mode. Okay, can everyone see my screen? A little quick thumbs up here and there, maybe. Okay, excellent. Thank you very much. All right, so the natural sciences at the University of Mary Washington are housed in 3 departments: the Department of Biological Sciences, the Department of Chemistry and Physics, and the Department of Earth and Environmental Sciences. And we're all housed together in the Jepson Science Center. And what makes Jepson Science Center really exciting right now is that we just completed an expansion and renovation of the facility. So this is the view from the campus side as it looked when it was built and opened in 1998. But then in around 2019, we completed a renovation and expansion, which added to the building by about 30%. So this is the causeway linking the 2 halves of the building. The new half of the building contains new classrooms, laboratories. We have renovated a lot of our research labs in the original space, upgraded them, brought them to fully modern standards, and equipped them with all the latest technology, lab equipment for students to use both in classes and in their own research. So this is a view of a big biology lab on the 3rd floor of the building. You can see it has windows and bays where different teams of students can work together and interact as they're completing their research. Really important. Our new classrooms have all the technology the professors would need to teach their classes in a wide variety of ways. This is a great classroom because it has all this flexible seating. These seats move around, the students can work in small groups, problem solve, and then come back as a class and discuss the solutions. Great way to teach and learn. And we have more sort of hangout spaces like this in the building, really nice, comfortable lounge areas where students can wait between classes, study, meet with their friends to study for an exam, and computer stations so they can work on collaborative projects right there in the building. Okay, so UMW has a total of 9 natural science majors, applied physics, 3 in the biological sciences. Chemistry has a biochemistry major and a chemistry major, with the option to complete an American Chemical Society certified major in either one. We also have a major in conservation biology, physics, a couple in environmental science. So you can see we have a wide variety of different majors to choose from depending on your interests. Okay. And then in addition to various majors, our departments offer minor programs in their disciplines, but then we have these additional interdisciplinary minors, and we either work together to contribute courses to that within the natural sciences, but we also collaborate outside the natural sciences. So for example, neuroscience is collaborative with psychology. So students take a lot of courses in biology, but they also take biological psychology, psychopharmacology, et cetera, to help meet students' interests in brain injury, Alzheimer's disease, and other conditions like that. Climate science, there's a lot of collaboration between earth and environmental sciences and geography. At UMW, we also have these other programs that complement the major programs, like the Geographical Information System certificate. So you can major in anything and complete this certificate and have really marketable GIS skills that are great for a wide variety of employers. We also have programs for students interested in becoming medical doctors, dentists, veterinarians. Again, you can major in different science disciplines, and occasionally students major even in other disciplines. But then these programs give them the support they need to make them strong, like medical school applicants, organize letters of recommendation, provide information about different programs, coordinate testing and make sure the students know what requirements are required for entry to various professional schools. So the university has these additional programs to help these pre-professional students with dedicated advisors. Our area abounds with all kinds of opportunities for internships. So for example, if you're interested in healthcare, you can complete an internship or volunteer clinical hours right across the street at the area's largest medical center, the Mary Washington Hospital campus. So students can walk across, bike across all kinds of hospitals, clinics, private doctors' offices, et cetera, an imaging center. Students participate in international programs like the Medical Brigade. Here's one of our students volunteering for the Medical Brigades down in Panama about 2 years ago. And they're extremely successful. Students medical programs, dental programs, they're well aware of the capabilities that University of Mary Washington students have when they're reviewing their applications. And in addition to that, we are surrounded by all kinds of other facilities that are well aware of the strengths of UMW students and frequently take them on as interns and volunteers. The Dahlgren Naval Base, the Smithsonian facilities up in Northern Virginia. And of course, we're halfway between two capitals, the nation's capital and the capital of Virginia. So we are in a very good position to place students in internships in either direction, with the National Institutes of Health or with the State Department of Environmental Quality in the other direction. Also, with capital cities like this comes lots of corporate headquarters, lots of businesses where science students can also seek employment and intern while they're students. You're not restricted to our area though. our students complete internships all over the country. Here's one of our biology students completing an internship at a wildlife rehabilitation center in Maine. So she spent the summer in Maine. And so you can see her here helping out with a barred owl, getting some sort of a treatment here, keeping it well in hand. Now, another strength of our program are our research opportunities for students. Individual research is one of our greatest strengths for a variety of reasons. One is we have a lot of in-house student research funding available. So students can work with a faculty member, write a proposal, and receive funding from the dean's office to do the work they need, to buy supplies, to travel to conferences. We have equipment such as electron microscopes, a nuclear magnetic resonance machine, which is very rare to have for a university our size. And in fact, that was made its way to our campus with a cooperative effort with the Navy, with the Dahlgren Naval Base. So that's a very productive relationship. A laser lab in the physics department, and the list goes on. We do very well with our scientific equipment, and then we train our students to use all that equipment. Students report back that they receive job offers sometimes because they've had training on this equipment, and it's hard to find students that have actually put their hands on it. We also have a lot of great field sites if you're interested in environmental science or in ecology if you want to be a biology major. Such as the Rappahannock River, the Chesapeake Bay is nearby, and I'll show you a couple of other field sites that we have access to. Now, this is a really fantastic program called the Summer Science Institute. So we've had this program for a little over 20 years, and it's an intensive summer-long research experience. So you can work with a faculty member and then usually 2 students total in the team, work for 10 weeks on a research project where you can really dive in and dedicate yourself to learning, collecting data, and then having something to present at the end of the summer. It comes with a stipend and it comes with room and board. So students can really focus on their research and not have to worry about just supporting themselves while they do it. You can also use your research to complete honors projects for departmental honors and also the university honors program, capstone projects. Any of this you can do, or sorry, most of this you can also receive academic credit for also. Most of this is academic credit bearing. So they count in the major or count toward your general elective credit, depending on which kind of credit you're seeking. So we have, again, abundant laboratory facilities for all kinds of teamwork, access to sites on the and boats and other equipment on the Rappahannock River. There's a science, chemistry student, and some environmental students working at a field site not far from campus. Looks like they're testing some water quality that is coming out of an old mine, which is an important source of pollution and one that we use as a case study to educate our students about those kinds of issues in that department. We also have, as part of our own properties, a property called Eagle Lake Outpost, just about 20 minutes away from campus. It has a pond, these outbuildings for equipment storage, a place to collate data and discuss what you just found that day. 200 acres of woods and trails, really great field site for all kinds of purposes. Earth and Environmental Sciences has this new boat. So professors frequently take the boat out on the Rappahannock River and on various reservoirs to study their kinds of questions. And these projects often, are so substantive, that they lead to presentations at meetings, professional conferences, sometimes even international conferences. I was able to travel with this student, Thomas, and a team of environmental science students and an environmental science professor to Toronto in 2019. It was a great experience. We went to a big conference up there with hundreds of scientists. They did all kinds of networking, really great experience. Sometimes even students can co-author papers. So students frequently appear as co-authors anytime a professor gets a publication in their discipline. We also have lots of study abroad programs in the sciences, courses that have especially a spring break trip. So in biology, students can travel to places like Panama, where we snorkel in both oceans. Panama is skinny enough that we can snorkel on the Caribbean side and on the Pacific side. Visit cloud forests, visit tropical rainforests, see all kinds of wildlife. It's all centered around a course called Tropical Ecology, and then this is the trip for that class. And then I'm going here, in fact, with another group of students in about 3 days, the Galapagos Islands. So I teach a course on the Galapagos Islands. We talk about it as a classic study site for evolutionary biology and ecology research. And some of its current value is an ecotourism site, wildlife conservation research site, really an incredible place. So we teach a course all about the biology of islands and then visit the Galapagos Islands. So here we are on the rim of the crater, one of the big craters on Isabella Island. Wildlife everywhere, tons of birds and sea lions, really fantastic experience for the students. Snorkel a lot, and we do a service project. We plant trees or do a project for a research station that needs a little busy work, but the students learn a lot while they're engaged in that kind of activity. Earth and Environmental Sciences has trips to South Africa, Jamaica. They do coral restoration work in Jamaica. They're also headed out with another group of students on Saturday to visit Jamaica, full class. So just to kind of summarize, in addition to the specifics about our programs like that, why study science? Sorry, that's supposed to say any science at UMW. Wide variety of reasons. This applies to any department. As you can see, for a school our size, we have a lot of different majors and minors, other programs to choose from. Within each department, there's a wide variety of courses that we have to offer. You have small classes, upper level classes might be 10 or 15 consistently. And you get lots of individual attention from your professors. So at a school like Mary Washington, you get the same professor for both your classes and your labs. So at a place like a bigger school, a big university, you'll have a professor, but then you'll have graduate students for your labs. And so that kind of breaks up that seamless instruction. Here you get a lot of personal attention in both settings, which is really helpful to a lot of students. We have research and travel opportunities. And I just want to add to that we do research as faculty, but student education is the focus of that, unlike your larger universities. If we want first and foremost to make sure that students are learning from our research programs, and then we include them in our professional meeting travel as co-authors on everything we produce from that research. Students not only gain that experience as young scientists, but also learn how to manage their own work, how to solve their own problems. That's the kind of stuff that professional schools, employers really want to hear, right? Can they think for themselves? Can they set a goal and achieve it on their own without being part of a class? Really important. Also, as faculty, we really know these students, so we can write really specific letters of recommendation for students. We know them well, and that comes through in our letters. And just overall, I think we have a very close, supportive community. Ashley can speak to that in a couple minutes here. Students get to know each other. The faculty's doors are always open for help, for tutoring. Sometimes on the weekends, whatever students need to succeed in our programs. And our graduates are successful. And Ashley can tell you about her recent success. They get into the top graduate schools, medical schools, along with any student from anywhere. If you come here and do well on our program, you will get into the same dental school, veterinary school as any student anywhere else. And you'll get the best job offers along with everyone else. We're a liberal arts college, which means that in addition to the sciences, you're taking some classes in other disciplines, and you're getting some really great training in skills like speaking and writing, doing research, critical thinking, which are all skills that everyone's really looking for. And if you can write well, present yourself well, you are going to get the job offer. You're going to get the interview. So with that, I just wanted to turn it over to Ashley now and let her talk about her experiences, and then we'll open it up for questions.
Hi everyone. I don't have a PowerPoint prepared, but I was just going to talk to you about my experience. So I originally came to Mary Washington not knowing that I wanted to be a chemistry major. I originally came here as a nursing student, actually. And after my first semester, I quickly found out that blood makes me squeamish, and I don't have I can't do the blood. So I quickly decided to switch out of the nursing courses, and unfortunately I had missed the deadline to add courses, but I knew I wanted to take chemistry. It was something I loved in high school. And I was able to find a faculty member who had an open seat in her class, and I kind of jumped on her and was like, can I please be added to your course? She was very receptive and happily helped me out, and I was able to get added to the class even after 2 weeks of the semester already passing. Through that, I really fell in love with the subject, and I decided to pursue it as my major. Like Dr. Dolby said, the personal relationships that you develop, they want you to succeed. And even though I was a freshman and I didn't really know what I wanted to do, I still received a lot of really good advice in what courses I should take, even as an undeclared major. And I was given a lot of help with figuring out what I wanted to do. During my second year at UMW, I was taking organic chemistry with the now faculty chair, Dr. Asper, for the chemistry and physics departments. And she was my organic chemistry professor. She had, throughout the year, she would send out information about upcoming internship opportunities, or if you were interested in research, what you could do. And I jumped on one of those opportunities for an internship with a company called Aerojet Rocketdyne. I didn't know that chemistry could lead me into wanting to do rocket science, but that sounded really cool, and it piqued my interest. So I decided to reach out to her. I had never written an official resume before. I had never applied to an internship before, but I asked for help, and I did take that initiative. It was a little uncomfortable because you are asking for help, but the faculty at UMW, they really want you to succeed, and that came clear. And she really helped me figure out my resume and everything, and I got the internship. That was the year, though, that COVID happened, so I wasn't able to actually have that internship that year, but they were impressed with just my accomplishments so far in the major, and they offered it to me again the following year. And it was a really fun, exciting internship. I got to see how chemistry could be applied in engineering for rocket parts, and how it can help fuel and send our astronauts safely to outer space. So I've actually been able to continue with that internship throughout the year. And I'm a senior now. So this past year, I've been doing undergraduate research under Dr. Asper, and it's still for my internship. So I'm getting credit for that and experience. And so that was really cool. One of the things I know that Dr. Dolby mentioned was how the small class sizes and how your professors are also in charge of your labs. one really cool thing about UMW is how much of the equipment you actually get to handle. You don't really get to do that in the bigger universities. Normally, you would give your data to someone, then they would run it. But here you get to learn how to use the instruments. And I really feel like that set me apart from other candidates for the internship because I had experience touching that NMR and I got training in using it. So it was a really cool experience. And now I'm going to be working for that company full time after I graduate in the spring. But yeah, I can't speak enough about the relationships that you get here. These are relationships I feel like with faculty I'll continue to have even after I graduate. I'll still want to reach out and send a nice email once in a while and just see how professors are doing. So you don't feel like a number here. You really feel like they care and they want you to succeed. So yeah, that's what I got.
All right, thanks, Ashley. So living proof that we graduate rocket scientists. So does anyone have any specific questions about any of our programs or majors? Yes, here's a question about study abroad. Yes, so students have the opportunity to engage in different kinds of study abroad opportunities, just like any other major. So what I presented were some classes that have spring break trips. So you just take the class throughout the spring semester, starting in January and ending in April. And then that's your spring break. The spring break trip is kind of like the lab for the class. But biology students or environmental students, chemistry students, they can also participate in semester-long study abroad programs in other countries, yet for the entire semester and then transfer back the credits. So we've had students study abroad in Australia, all kinds of different European countries. I know a biology major who studied abroad in Ecuador for a semester, and then they transfer those credits back. We also, let's see, I was going to add something to that. Yeah, so we also have this almost study abroad program. Students can participate in the Smithsonian Mason's School of Conservation program at Front Royal, Virginia. So you can take most of your classes here, complete most of your program here, and then take that semester at that facility and do research on animals like clouded leopards or maned wolves, cheetahs. They have all kinds of birds there. Take classes with the world's top conservation biology professors and then transfer that credit back for UMW credit. Yeah, it's a really great partnership. So that kind of is like study abroad, but just up in Front Royal. But we're just lucky, that we're very close to a place like that. Let's see, what are some other questions I have here? To work with animals, especially birds. Well, that would be, I guess that would be my question. One of the classes is ornithology. And so I do teach the class about birds. And I guess the answer is no, we don't have any birds on campus, but I could certainly work with you on a research project somehow with birds, some aspect of bird ecology. I've done a wide variety of projects. If you're interested in bird conservation, you could also participate in that Smithsonian program. They have all kinds of endangered cranes and birds like that. Also wildlife rehab centers, like the picture I just showed you of Esther. That's another good way to get hands-on experience with animals or vet clinics. But the wildlife rehab centers, that's when you get to work with owls and hawks and the wildlife that you might be interested in. Let's see, let's get to the next question. Sorry, I clicked the wrong button. Work with animals, especially birds. All right. Now, I think I probably answered one question about conservation biology this partner program with the Smithsonian. That's a really great opportunity. That's probably our kind of crown jewel, I guess you could say. At least 2 or 3 per year, which is a pretty good number for an institution our size. They participate in that. And one student who just completed it said it, she called it a career maker. I mean, the contacts you make up there are just gold. They'll employers, graduate schools, they see that Smithsonian letterhead, and that letter of recommendation is, worth its weight in gold. Again, we also are in a really good place here near like the Division of Wildlife Resources in Richmond. You could do an internship with that if you're interested in wildlife conservation. We have several wildlife refuges that take interns, so that's another opportunity. Let's see. We also have Nature Conservancy people in Fredericksburg who we connect students with. And then how similar is conservation biology to regular biology? I would say the major difference is there's more emphasis on biodiversity and ecology classes. So you have to take a couple of additional ecology classes and classes that deal with some group of organisms like, well, you could take my bird class, you could take vertebrate zoology, invertebrate zoology, plant biology, just to get familiar with a couple of groups of organisms that you might deal with. And then you also need to take a GIS class, just get your feet wet, know what its capabilities are, and know how it's applied to conservation research. So, or work of any kind. Yeah, so that would be another difference. Yes, and I'm glad you mentioned Fredericksburg specifically. Yes, there are otters around here. And one group that we place a lot of students with is a group called the Friends of the Rappahannock. And they are an extremely active, large organization that educates the public about the Rappahannock River. They do all kinds of restoration work like tree plantings. They do trash pickups. They monitor water quality, and they advocate for the river with the General Assembly of Virginia. They have all kinds of work for students. So that would be another very local conservation opportunity for you. They're very good at what they do, very good with working with UMW students. Let's see. Am I answering your questions? That all sound good? Anything else I can follow up on there? Okay, so next, does PreMed have specific requirements? Yeah, so PreMed, again, that's a program. So you need to, you need to major, or you can major in different disciplines. You can be a biology major, chemistry major, biochemistry major. Sometimes students major in psychology, and they also participate in the PreMed program. But really what's important are, courses like chemistry. It's really important that you take organic chemistry and biochemistry to prepare yourself for entrance exams and for the demands of being a strong medical school applicant. But other than that, you can major in, pretty much anything. It's recommended that you major in a science discipline, so you have that good background and can perform well on entrance exams. But again, the other strength about being a pre-med student is that, again, we're a liberal arts school, so your writing skills are going to be really strong, your speaking skills. And what we found is once our students get interviews, their admission rate is very high because they present themselves so well. They've had so much training in being good speakers and making good arguments and being articulate. That's also very important. We have classes in medical ethics, classes in the sociology of medicine that make you more well-rounded. You're aware of the social issues surrounding the medical profession also, not just the scientific side. We have lots of leadership and community service opportunities. We have a center for community engagement. That kind of stuff on your college resume is really important to medical schools. And so we can really help you out with that side of your preparation in addition to, your coursework. Okay, that get it? Okay, all right, cool. All right, let's see. What is the environmental geology major like? Okay, so for that one, you're obviously going to need to take a lot of courses in the environmental science and geology area, but also chemistry. You're going to have to take some chemistry. It's rigorous, but it's a major that will prepare you well for a lot of in-demand careers that they might have trouble finding qualified applicants for. Working for the Division of Mines, for example, would be a good fit for that kind of work, or an environmental consulting firm, a state agency, where you need solid foundations in environmental geology. So I would characterize it as rigorous, but you are well prepared for anything once you're through that. So rigor is good. Yeah, and especially with all the personal attention you get. I had an experience with an environmental science professor once where he was out with his UMW undergraduate students and also some PhD students from a big university. And they were floored with what UMW students knew. He's like, what? How do they know that? It's because they were taught so well, and teaching keeps happening everywhere you go with these professors, whether you're in the classroom or on a field trip or working on a research project. The teaching never stops. Yeah. It's fun, but it never stops. And that just makes you a conversant person in that discipline. Okay, does that get it? All right. Okay, cool. So environmental sustainability minor. Yeah, that's another really good one. We have an excellent professor who specializes in that. Her name is Dr. Shulcheski. So again, it's a mix of environmental science classes, biology classes. There are a couple biology classes in there. And then there are some other sort of environmental ethics classes and so forth that you can also apply. So it's one of those multidisciplinary minors because of the multidisciplinary nature of sustainability. That includes economic components, social components, not just the natural resources themselves. Some of our conservation biology students also minor in environmental sustainability. So that's a really powerful combination. And that rounds out your knowledge of all the other factors you have to consider in conservation. All the political, economic, and social aspects to those kinds of questions. Okay, how much choice do students have in picking their topic? Okay, I would say a lot more than at a large university, because our professors can be more flexible. Since our job here is to teach students first and foremost, we're not as confined to a narrow research area. So sometimes a professor will say, okay, I'm working on this, but these are some different ways you can fit into the project I'm already working on. But other professors can really work with the student to come up with something very unique to them. So I'd say it's a bit of a mixed bag. Sometimes there are professors who are working on a particular thing, They have their area of expertise, so the student kind of has to fit in with that. But again, I think there's more latitude than you would get at a large university where there are other kinds of pressures on the professor's research program, like bringing in a certain amount of grant dollars, also training graduate students, and just some other different kinds of demands. Whereas here, our focus is on you, and making sure you get the education you need from the experience. That help? All right, cool. What's the difference between biology and biomedical? All right, so those two majors are both housed in biology, and the focus of biomedical is more all your human biology classes. So the biology major is more broad, and so that would prepare you to work for a biotech company or be a teacher, a biology teacher, work in agriculture, just a wide variety of different fields. Whereas biomedical, that's designed a bit more for students specifically interested in a healthcare career. So you have to take some of the same core courses, like cell biology and a course in statistics and research design. It's very important to understand the basis for how clinical trials are designed. We've all become a bit more aware of that with the pandemic and all the challenges that go into testing a vaccine, things like that. It'll give you some background there. That's very important. Also, human physiology is required in that because how the human body works, is basically the foundation of everything. But then we have a wide variety of classes in anatomy, in things like endocrinology, immunology, biology of cancer, microbiology, so you understand infectious diseases a bit more, and antibiotics and things like that. So it's more human biology focused. And then we have a multidisciplinary component. So you also have to take in something like medical ethics or the sociology of medicine, psychology, classes like that help you to, relate to patients and understand where the medical profession fits into society. Yeah, that's also very important that you get that piece of it. And then we have a whole pre-health program for the other health professions, not just medical school, dental school. We place students in physical therapy school every year. Occupational therapy students go on and become nurse anesthetists, physician's assistants, the full range of health professions. Nurse anesthetist, that's a really great career path. We had a student do that, and she's making a really good living, can pretty much choose where she lives, and doesn't have to be in charge, but has this excellent position in healthcare that works really well for her. That is a great option that a lot of students don't know about until they get into the pre-health advising program. Apes or any kind of primate. Oh, wow. Okay. That's an interesting question. And I guess I've never had that question before, but that's a good one because I actually teach a first-year seminar on humans and our relationship with other apes. There's been some really interesting books written about it. I think it's a fascinating group of animals. And I would say we don't have I've never worked with students who worked with apes directly, but we are close to the National Zoo. And we do have former students who work there right now. Nikki Matisic, she works with animals at the National Zoo. And she, as part of her job, she visits other zoos around the world. She's been to Paraguay and other countries to consult with them. And so we do have connections, that can connect students with opportunities like that. If there is an internship with the orangutans up there, gibbons or gorillas. So yeah, it's something we could connect you with. Cool question. Oh, they're all cool, but never had that one. That's a good one. Yes, so there are all kinds of web pages. Let me just bring up our main academic page here with all the different majors. If you'll stand by just for a second. Okay, and I'm going to share my screen again. So can everyone see the UMW homepage now? All right, cool. So if you go under academics right here, this tab right here, you'll see majors, minors, and programs. And if you click on that and scroll down, you can see a whole laundry list of every major that's in dark green with the capital M, minor, lowercase m, light green, and then programs like pre-law, pre-med, and so forth. And then let's just pick one. Let's pick biochemistry, which is in the chemistry and physics department. It takes you to a page, and from there you can go to the chemistry and physics website, or you can scroll down and just click on requirements at the bottom. Click, let's get rid of that. Okay, oh, my mouse isn't responding. Not sure why. I don't know, it could be, yeah, my mouse is a little, I have a remote mouse I'm working with here. Let's go to conservation biology. And if you click on, sorry, I was clicking on the tab instead of the link. So that was a user error, sorry. It usually is user error, in my case. So yeah, when I click on that, then you can see it brings up the major requirements. It brings up all the core courses you take, and then the classes that you can kind of choose from various menus, right? So you just go to the UMW homepage, academics, and then majors, minors, and programs. And that brings up all of them. All right, did that help? All right, awesome. Okay, Ashley, is there anything else you wanted to add, or no pressure? Just
I think you touched on everything. But we also have a lot of student organizations as well. I can maybe mention that. I'm the president of the American Chemical Society on campus, but they also have a physics group. I'm sure they have a biology one, but since chemistry and physics are a little more together, I hear a lot more about those. But there's a lot of like student groups that we have, so you make a lot of really good friends, and you can work together, and the people that you have classes with, you can kind of, I have a lot of lifelong friends from my major that I don't think I would have met outside of chemistry. So the student groups, I would highly recommend try to get involved your first year. Make friends with your lab partners, especially if you're in a lab. But yeah, it's a really great program that we have here. So.
well, thanks, Ashley. All right. So anything else? Well, it was nice talking with everyone this evening, and congratulations on your admission. And just please drop us a line if you have any other questions. You can even, you can send me an email, and if I don't know the answer, I can direct you to the right person. I'm familiar with who does what in the admissions office. I can direct you there. So whatever you need, you can just drop me a line. So